Okay, so when the RFID reader is connected, also barcode scanner is connected. So we can send a command. For example, let's read some barcode. Okay, so we read the barcode now. So you notice the counter is increment to 2. Read barcode again. And here is the barcode data. And I will show you how to decode the barcode data. Okay. And the next one, I will show you how to do RFID tag reading. So let's clear the console output first. Okay, so right now we just send a command to tell RFID reader to start reading. So this is API command. You need to send to start inventory. And once inventory start, you need to decode status notification. So here they told you operation start. And later I will show you in the code how to decode the read notify event. And in the read notify event, you can decode RFID tag data. Okay. So here we read the RFID tag for 43 times. And then when you hit stop inventory command, you will expect receive two events. One is status notify, another is tag notifies. Okay, so let's decode the status notify first. So you will receive first you will receive an operation stop event, and also you will receive an operation end summary event. And in this event, you can decode the notification data to know during this inventory how many tags you receive. So right now is 154 tags, and how many time you spend for inventory. So we spend about 869 milliseconds, less than 1 second. We already get 154 RFID tag. Okay, so that's clear again.
Hey Chuck, we do have a couple of questions that came in. Maybe this is a good time to stop you and just get these questions out. When you were doing it just now, when you were doing the RFID read, one of the questions was how many are the events that you're seeing on there, the 43 reads, 42 reads, are they happening when you're pressing the trigger on the device? Or yeah, is it some sort of a soft read?
Yes. Right now, in the demo, I'll show you the soft read. We use RFID read, okay? And we also use the soft read to send a command to start inventory. But you also can do the trigger. So you remember I told you that in the RFID device setup, they have a trigger button, and they also have a more button. So you can change more button to the RFID scanning mode, and then you need to write a code, okay? So in the notification here, they have a trigger event. So once you receive a trigger price, and you need to send a command for RFID start inventory command. So let me show you where it's out. Here is a trigger. I didn't implement yet, but I can implement later in the real time for everyone. So basically, in this demo, we only show the soft trigger, but later I can add the code to show you how to do the hardware trigger. Okay.
Okay, I do have another question. One of them is about versioning. One of them is saying that the latest version of the SDK posted is 1.0.62, but you're using 1.0.34. Is there any reason for that? And maybe it's a related question here. It seems to be saying that in the latest version, I'm guessing the 1.0.62 version, the trigger event seems to be broken. Do you have a demo of that?
Yeah, no, I don't think it's broken, but I can change the SDK, but this project I set up, I just by chance I use the old SDK. But if I use the latest SDK, it should have no problem too. The trigger was not broken. I answered one customer yesterday. We use the latest SDK, and we also show the trigger is working.
Okay. Yeah, maybe we can post some code on that just to make sure that everyone's got the newest code on how to use that trigger. The other question I had was, what's the maximum distance between the RFID tag and the RFID reader?
Then I think it's very far, maybe 30 feet or 50 feet. It's really far. You need to control the power. If your RFID reader has a maximum 30 dBm power, then you can extend the read distance. Also, you also make sure you have a really good tag, special tag, then you can read 100 feet or something. So depending.
Yeah, my understanding of it is that it depends a lot on the power you have on the reader as well as on the tag itself. Different tags have different different size antennas, and that's going to affect the read distance.
Okay, and yes, so depend on power, also depend on tag. But for the normal tag, it's about 20 to 25 feet, the maximum distance. Yeah.
Okay. And one other add-on to the first questions we were talking about there, when we're talking about the trigger event being broken, that's basically they clarified in saying that the sample app downloaded from the App Store, the trigger event seems to be broken. Can you demo that? Can you verify that that's the case, or that kind of thing?
Yes, sure. When you finish the slideshow, I will show you how to use the trigger in the demo app. And
okay.
Yesterday, I just answered one customer, and they also asked about this question about trigger broken. We prove the trigger is working fine.
All right.
Okay.
So yeah, once you're done with these things, maybe we can go in and take a peek at that just to do that.
Well, yeah. Also, feel free to send me email, and I can help you to investigate as well.
Okay.
Okay.
And one last question before we move on. How many RFID tag can we read simultaneously?
Simon, how many? It really depends. Right now the read rate is about 1,000 tag per second, and so you can read. In our lab test, we read about couple hundred tag per second. So for my testing, I read 50,000 tag without issue, or more than that. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. All right, then I'll let you get back to your presentation, and we'll still be taking questions, but you can go ahead with what you're doing there.
Okay, and so we finished the RFID inventory, also the scanner, barcode scanning operation. So now let's continue on the SDK event handling. So if you disconnect a scanner, you expect to receive a notification as well. Okay, so now I just disconnect the scanner. So your API, you need to issue command SBT terminate communication. Okay, once you send this command to scanner, then the SDK will send notification event, communication session terminate event, and you can decode the data, say which scanner just disconnect. Okay, so now let's clear buffer now. Now I will do a demo for RFID reader disconnect. So again, you send the terminate command, and you will receive an event for terminated. Okay, so in the console window, we show you we send the terminate command, and the SDK will send your event communication session terminated event. Okay, And let's test one more thing before we do the real-time coding. So if right now you power off the RFID reader, and also you power off scanner, in 15 seconds, you'll receive a notification from the SDK say a reader disappeared. Okay, so I think you wait for 5 more seconds, we'll receive an event. Okay, we just got it. So SBT event scanner disappeared. So we receive a scanner disappear event. We also receive a RFID reader disappear event. So again, so if we run out of power on the reader, you expect to receive the scanner appeared event, also RFID reader appear event. So I just power on RFID reader, so you'll receive the event reader appeared. And let's overview one more time. So when you connect, you'll receive a communication session established event. And connect scanner, same thing. You'll receive a event for scanner communication session established event. And when you start a soft read for RFID tag reading, you'll receive 2 events. One event is for status. They'll tell you start reading. And the second event is the read notify data event. And you can decode notification to decode RFID tag data. So let's do the demo again. So you can decode the tag, and also in the status, you will know when user hit the start button, and we will send out operation end summary event. You'll notice how many tags during this inventory and how many times spent. Okay, so let's do the barcode scanning one more time. So you'll receive a barcode scanning data event. And let's do disconnect. You'll receive a communication session terminate event. And we'll receive a barcode scanner communication session terminated event. Okay, so right now we got the overview of what application can do, and we'll write code to implement all the 5 steps. So first step, I'll show you how to initialize, and second step, I'll show you how to let's go back to slide now. How to set up a notification. And third step, I'll show you how to do RFID and scanner SDK reader management for Connect. And step 4 will perform some RFID tag reading and barcode scanning operation. And the last step, I'll show you how to decode the tag notified data and also barcode data. And also I will show you how to write a code to respond command status notifications. Okay, so let's write some code now. So in this slide, I will show you how to initialize RFID and scanner SDK. Okay, so first you need to use the RFID SDK API interface protocol to define the unique handle ID. So now I use RFID SDK. So we'll create a unique RFID handle ID. And the API we'll use to create this factory function, and they use the method to create this unique RFID handle ID. You can do the same thing to create a scanner handle ID as well. And the next slide, I will show the code snap to initial RFID engine. Okay, so once you create a unique RFID handle ID, then you can use this handle ID to access all API. For example, right now, in here, we will show you get SDK version, but you can do more. Yeah. In the next step, I will show you a code snippet for the how to initial barcode scanner. Again, you need to use the ISBT SDK API protocol to create, and then use the factory function and use the method to create a unique scanner handle ID. Once you create this scanner SDK handle ID, then you can access all barcode scanner API resources. Yeah. Okay, so let's write some code now. So right now, let's open Xcode project. So in the presentation, I have in the end of the presentation, I will provide you the source code to download 5 project. And all the 5 projects, they will include initialization and the notification, reader management, command, and the last step is decode the data. So let's open the code now. So we open a project from step 0. So we will implement how to initialize. So let me open the Xcode project here. So step 0. Okay. So in this real-time code demo, I will show you how to integrate and initialize RFID and scanner SDK. So first thing you need is you need to import the RFID SDK header file and the scanner SDK header file. Okay. And in your view controller.n implementation file, you need to define the unique handle ID. Okay, so we use the RFID protocol and the scanner SDK protocol to define unique handle ID for RFID and this one for scanner. Okay, and in the view control below we start the RFID, and then now we need to write some code to initialize. Okay, so here we use we initialize RFID, use the API, factory API, and use this method to create a handle ID. And here has a complaint. They say they cannot find this factory API. So you need to include a header file. So we include the RFID factory API and also scanner factory API header file. Then you can create the handle for the one for the scanner and this one for RFID. So now let's go to the scanner start code and let's create the handle ID to initialize the scanner. Okay, so here is we use a factory function and use the method to create the handle ID. And once you create, and then we can access all SDK API. So let me show you again. So once you create a scanner handle ID, then you can get access all scanner API for here. This is all scanner API. Okay. So do the same thing. Once you create a handle ID, then you can access all RFID API. So these are all API function you can access. Okay, so this one is inventory command. Okay, so we already initialized, so let's run the app now to make sure. Okay, so I add a filter. So basically, we start the app and we initialize RFID SDK, and then we can get a version number, and then we also create the SDK, and we can get the version number. Okay, let's go to the slide now. Okay, the second step, I will show you how your application can receive notifications from the RFID and the scanner SDK. Okay, so in this session, you will learn how the SDK send notification data and your application to receive SDK events. So I will write code to perform 3 steps. The first step, create an object that implement dedicated protocols. Okay. And once you create an object, you need set delegate. Then you need so you need to register and use the set delegate API to register event. And the step 3, you need a subscribe event. Okay, then we go to more detail. Okay, so this is constant pit for receiving event from RFID and scanner SDK notified data. So basically, you use 2 protocols. One, RFID SDK API delegate protocol. So you need to implement this RFID protocol, and also for scanner API delegate protocol. Your UI view controller.h, this is the object you create. So next one, you need to register the UI view controller object as notification receiver by API. So use the RFID set delegate API, and for scanner, you use the SBT set delegate API. So in your view controller.m implementation file, you need to register notification by SBT set delegate API to your UI view controller.m. And in the your start RFID code, you also need the set delegate. Last step, you need a subscribe event for the SDK.